All right, so in this assignment, you're going to take those recommendations that we had and you're going to convert them to actually building a computer. A lot of people will just buy a computer. They'll go into the store, they'll buy it off the shelf. They'll go online and buy it off. I do a lot of that. I have a Dell and I bought it offline, which close to what I wanted. And then I added things like a better graphic card that I purchased and some other stuff. And that's common. We're going to give some recommendations. We're going to use this site called PC Part Picker. And I picked it not because it's greatest, but I picked it because it allows us to make a list and we can print that list out. So here I am on PC Parts Picker. And here I have Julia's computer recommendations. This is the master. This is the one I used to grade. So you're getting that too. So we're only building the recommended system. We're not building the minimum. We're only going to build the recommendeds for these three. The minimum is just going to hang there. So on this PC parts picker, the first thing you can do is pick a CPU. So we want a CPU Intel Core i3-540 or an AMD A6-3500. Honestly, given these two, the fact that the 540 is 3.1 gigahertz and the 3500 is 2. I'm always going to go with the higher speed here. I'm not going to go crazy and buy the i9 new line. So I'm going to choose a CPU. Once I do that, I get a ton of CPUs. Over here, it's kind of cool. You can sort these by anything you want. You can sort them by how fast it is. So the fastest one out there is running 5 gigahertz, i9 9900KS. If you want to buy me something for Christmas, that would be great. So core clocks, core counts, it gives, you can sort them by anything. I can sort them by price. That was kind of a nice way to do that. I can buy this Intel Core Duo, and we're talking almost weak and do nothing, but I could buy it for $11. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look for the i3-540. So I'm actually going to cut and paste from over here, i3-540, and I'm going to go to the search bar, and I'm going to paste that in and enter. And I come up with one i3-540, 3.06 gigahertz, which matches our 3.1. Remember, people often round. 73 watts and $72. I'm going to add it. So far, my system cost me $72. I can look at the bottom, $72.41. Now, some of the things I want you to look at and make this site kind of neat is you'll notice that up top it has a compatibility thing. So as I'm buying things, if something is not compatible, it's going to tell me. It also tells me how much power I'm using. That way, when I get ready to buy a power supply, which is the very last thing I'll do, I'll know whether my power meets the requirements. And I can go down the bottom, and there's also compatibility notes down here. And they've got some saying, hey, we don't do physical stuff. We don't know. So let's get a cooler for our CPU. We call that a heat sink, and that's the cheaper coolers. And I'm going to go by price. But I'm also going to pay attention to ratings. This Arctic Alpine has 5 stars, but only one person ever bought it. That kind of bothers me. This one has 3 stars and 4 people bought it. It means it probably sucks hard. I'm going to go down here and find one where I've got a couple people bought it. This Roswell, here's been purchased by 5 people, and they all gave it 5 stars. That's pretty good. So I'm going to go with that for right now. I'm not building a high-end computer, so heat won't become terrible. I'm going to go ahead and add that based on that. When I grade these, I'm going to look for you making sense out of this. If you pick something and you're unsure, you're going to write and tell me why. Just provide a little note on, hey, this is why I picked this. So let's go pick a motherboard. Now, a motherboard is the backbone of your computer. It's where everything plugs in. We're going to run into a problem in this one here. It says there's 105 compatible products. That's good. I'm going to press price. And you're going to notice there's really only 6 compatible products. The other ones are listed, but they don't really exist in inventories anywhere, so it'd be hard to buy some. There is one on here that's got somebody purchased it at 5. Everything else is on my own. I know something about motherboards. I know MSI builds pretty good motherboards. BioStar I've never heard of. So I'm going to go with the one MSI, which got a decent rating. I'm going to add it, only because I don't really have a choice on what's here, and I got to stick with money. In real world, I would go to another site and look for it, but you guys have to build this here. So far, I'm up to $340. You'll notice that motherboard was really the expensive thing. So memory. It says here that my recommended is 8 gigabytes of RAM. So I want 8 gigabytes of RAM. Here's what I know. I know that I want 8 gigabytes, and I'm going to scroll down on this website. On the left-hand side, I'm going to look, and I'm going to get to one point where it's going to talk about modules. And I can show a ton of things. It is only showing me what's compatible. Now, truth is, I always want to buy my memory in pairs. And I always want to think about expanding. So there's some options, like I could buy 4 sticks of 2 gigabyte memory. It'll probably be cheap, but realistically, when I expand, I'm going to instantly lose stuff. So I'm going to buy it as 2 times 4 gigabytes. So I want 2 sticks at 4 gigabytes each. That'll do with my dual thing. I'm going to go right to the top. I'm going to press my price. And again, I'm looking for stuff that works and stuff that people have said has worked. So I've got a couple down here. This first one is cheap, but nobody's ever bought the thing, and there's no rating. So if I buy it, I'm kind of taking my luck. I trust AMD. I bought things from them before, so I'd easily go with this. But I can also go to this one, this Patriot Viper, uh, 2 times 4 gigabytes. You'll notice that it's got 33 people who bought it, and they all rated 5 stars. That's a good thing. So I'm going to use that. I now have my computer built down to there. And you'll notice the buttons, and now at $378 so far. They keep saying add additional. I don't care. Let's go to storage. So storage is how much mass storage space I want. I need to at least 8.1 gigabytes. I would never buy that few gigabytes there. In fact, if you bought less than a half a terabyte, which is 500 gigabytes, you're really just looking that you're going to have to buy some in the future. So let's go. Let's keep that in mind. Um, you can look through here. We'll go ahead and sort it by price, and they do all that. I can go to the left side and sort it by. I do want SATA. I'm going to go 6 gigabytes per second SATA. That's good stuff. And really, what I want is I want a hard drive. But if you get a hard drive that spins at less than 7,200 RPMs, that hard drive is going to be very slow in response. If all you're doing is word processing, that's fine. But the minute, and this, Julia wants to do cartooning. She definitely needs a better. So we'll get 7,200 RPMs. The cartooning brings back the fact that she definitely needs more, or she needs at least 500 gigabytes. So I'm looking here, and the first one came up as a Seagate Barracuda. Seagate is old in the industry. They're good. It's got a good amount of cache. That helps. It's SATA 6, and 99 people have rated it at least 4 stars or better. I like it. And it's $23 is not bad. I could easily justify going to something like the Seagate down here, which has higher star ratings and has a little more cache. It's kind of up to you. The difference between the two is about $10. I'm going to stick with the low end. Julia's probably going to want an SSD shortly after she starts doing a few programs. Let's be honest. The minute she starts saving stuff, she's going to want something more. But we're giving her a minimum start. So video card. We need a video card. We wrote down here GeForce 8400, and that was ranking 172, or Radeon 2900, which is 76. So I'm going to search for the Radeon first and see if I can get that, because that one rated much higher on the list, and I see that they don't have any at all. Well, then I'll check my GeForce 8400. And that they have quite a few. I'm going to click price because I can really only deal with stuff with price. I only have 2 listed. Um, EVGA or Pony. Um, they're both running the same thing. Probably the difference between these two is this has 1 gigabyte memory and this only has 0.5 gigabytes of memory. I definitely want the memory on my card. So we'll go ahead and add this one, even though it's got no ratings. It's the only one with price. All right, I'm going down. I need a case. I do want a decent sized case. In fact, I'm going to go down the left hand side. And really, what I'm looking for is a full or a mid tower. simply because anything smaller means it's going to be cramped inside as I get to wanting to do stuff that's going to create a problem. I'm going to sort by price. And I'm actually going to do some looking here. Honestly, Julia probably doesn't want a geeky looking thing. She just wants a computer to do stuff. They're running here pretty close to it. I got some ATX towers. I got black, and white. Um, the white one kind of interests me only because it looks like it's open, but I'm not really building inside looking stuff. If it was me, I might do that. Uh, I'm going to look at this just this first. Well, I'm going to go down and find something that some people have liked, honestly. So there's nobody's bought these and done anything with them. That kind of bothers me. This Thermal Lake Versa, it's got 3 external bays and 3 internal bays. That's more than I'll need. Uh, and 15 people have ranked it as 4 or better. That's not 4 or better. That's not bad. I'm going to take a peek at that sucker. That kind of looks cool and not too far out there. I can see it's got lots of space on top for air fans if I want to do that later for heat. So I'm going to add that one in there. And so far I'm up to $536. The next thing down there lists power supply. I'm not going to answer that yet until I've done everything. There's an optical drive. You can click that, but nothing's going to come up that we really need. She didn't say she needed a CD player. She didn't say she needed a DVD player. Right now, we're going to leave it alone. It's something you could look at. Honestly, you can buy most of these used. Most people have a ton of them already in their house because they stay good forever. Operating system, I'll go ahead and buy her operating system. We know that we need at least Windows 10. So I need the Microsoft Windows 10. I'm just going to highlight that and cut and paste it. We're here to operating system and hit enter. Then I'm going to go sort by price. And I come up with, and there's no difference here. They're the same operating system. I don't need Pro. I just need Home. So this first one that's the cheapest will definitely work. It's the same as all the other. I'm not going to buy any software. That's up to her. Her Moho Pro 13 and her quick, she can pick those on her own. I'm going to look for a monitor. I wanted at least a 1920 by 1080. So when I get here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down the left-hand side until I get to resolution. I'm going to press show more, and I'm going to go down to where it's 1920 times 1080. And it's going to give me some monitors. I can now sort by price. I get a cheap one, but nobody's ever bought the thing. I got one down here. 18 people have purchased it, and they've all been happy. That's a pretty good sign. It looks like it's just fine. So we're going to go ahead and add that one. I've got a monitor. External storage, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about laptop. It is time. What I learned is you can buy sound cards to this site, but you can't do it. So you guys get over. You don't have to worry about sound cards. Let's go back up to power supply. Now, as I've been going, it's been adding power. So it says right now I need 202 watts of power. Well, great. Power supplies. Never buy less than 500 watts. And I'll say that up front only because invariably you're going to add things to it. Power supplies, they're not terribly expensive, but they're not cheap. If you go for something really cheap, you're going to end up spending more money and swapping things out, and it's going to be a pain. So we're going to pick a power supply. We're going to pick it based on 500 watts. And then I'm going to sort by price. So I come up here with one that's AVGA, not a terrible place to start with. 157 people purchased it, and they all liked it. It went pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. Now I've come up with pretty much a good computer system. I'm honestly putting this together would cost me probably 10% on top of this. Things for cabling, the thermal glue, and some of the other stuff. But if I've been building computers, that stuff's going to be hanging around realistically. It does say I have some compatibility notes, and I'm not worried about them really. So I'm going to look, now that I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, not in the middle of this, just in a blank space of the screen, and I'm going to press print, and it'll do a whole print thing for me. And as long as I go over here and I save my destination as PDF and hit save, I'll save that to my computer, or I'll call it Julia's computer, and I'll save it. That PDF is what you're going to turn in as your assignment. When you put that PDF up there, go ahead and go into Julia's recommendations, since I printed out a copy, and make some comments. If you pick something because you were willing to go that low, just make a comment in there. Hey, I picked this card because I looked around. There was the other ones were all ranked low. I picked this one. Write that stuff in there. Let me know what you're thinking. That's the only way I can do it. All right, have fun. Build Julia's. We just did. Build Mary's and build Arnold's, and you'll do well.